That's me, Kevin, amateur breakdancer, Yale grad, and professional college counselor. Since 2020, our firm, the Elevated.school, has helped students from every background imaginable gain more than 500 acceptances to top universities. In today's video, I'll be sharing 3 magic keys to level up your extracurriculars and make them so good that admission officers will come knocking on your door. Then I'll share 3 more tips to upgrade the activities list section of your Common App. Let's begin. Key number 1, honors and awards. Having just 1 or 2 national level awards is enough to double your odds of getting into your dream school. Yes, they're that important. But don't take it from me, here is the exact rubric admission officers use when evaluating students. At the start of every calendar or academic year, I recommend creating a spreadsheet with at least 10 competitions you're serious about entering. Know the timelines, know the requirements, and study past winners. If you're interested in the humanities, look into John Locke, Young Arts, National History Day, Quiz Bowl, Scholastic. If you're more of a STEM or business kid, there's Chem Olympiad, Bio Olympiad, Science Bowl, Diamond Challenge, Conrad Challenge, Regeneron, Science Fair. The list goes on and on. There's also niche competitions for specialized academic fields. One of the students that I'm actively mentoring right now is interested in aerospace engineering. So we found a bunch of Navy and NASA summer programs to apply to. Literally, all you have to do is type into Google business competitions or writing competitions for high schoolers, and I promise a dozen will pop up. The hardest competition to apply to is by far the first one, but after that, you can recycle your essays for other ones. By the way, if you're applying to any competition or summer program and you'd like your application professionally reviewed, check out our website, www.elevated.school/editmyessay, and use the code YouTube15 to get 15% off your first order. Another thing you guys should know, elite summer programs like SSP, Promise, SUMAC, Iowa Young Writers Camp, these also count as honors and awards. Even some of the pre-college programs at Stanford, Brown, and UPenn can count. Although, note that the quality does range significantly from college to college. So just be sure to do your research. Some of them are more pay to play, while others are more selective and therefore legit. Check out Reddit. They actually have a bunch of great resources related to pre-college summer programs. I'll attach some more info in the description or comment section below. That said, guys, the process for applying to these programs and competitions shouldn't feel like pulling teeth. If you already wrote a fire English paper for school, just submit that to Scholastic. If you know you have to write a research paper for one of your STEM extracurriculars, might as well prepare that, modify that, and submit it to Science Fair as well. Work smarter, not harder, guys. Many of these competitions just run once a year. Quick aside, guys, but if you come from a rural state or a bad public school, then admission officers will be a little bit more lenient towards your honors and awards. However, on the flip side, if you come from a private school or a very good nationally ranked public school, then yes, the admission office is going to expect you to have some more awards, and really good ones too. Key number 2. Quality over quantity. Trust me when I say admission officers would much rather see you with 3 to 5 extracurriculars you're heavily engaged with, as opposed to 35 clubs and organizations you barely remember. But what exactly does this commitment or quality look like? No, this is not a hashtag. Let's talk about numbers. Who would you rather accept? Student A, who's run a food drive that's collected more than 1,000 pounds of food and donated it to hurricane relief victims, or student B, who spends a few hours a week kind of mulling around their local food pantry? For every activity you're a part of, you guys must know the answer to this question. What numbers or stats look so good that they would demand admission? Pause, your first instincts might be in the hundreds of thousands or millions range, but that's not true. If you built a social media page, anything above 10,000 subscribers, followers looks sufficiently impressive. And if you started a small business, anything above 10,000 in sales is quite solid. Key number 3, by far the most important one. We call this the stamp of legitimacy. Aside from numbers, another way to convey legitimacy is by partnering with credible organizations. They don't have to be national nonprofits either. This can be your local city office or public library. But Kev, how do I actually get these partnerships? Email. I pinky promise that if you send a well-written email to 30 organizations about a social impact project you're planning, you are destined to get some responses. Let's take the example from earlier. Say you're organizing a food drive to donate 1,000 pounds of food to hurricane victim. You contact Feeding America. nearby hurricane relief organizations, and even your local news. As soon as one of them says yes, you tell the other group, by the way, I'm working with Feeding America to make this happen. Can I partner with you too? Can you feature me as well? Guys, getting featured on TV or in a state newspaper is a lot easier than you guys think. These journalists are dying to hear cool stories from even cooler students like you, and take this whole process one step further and leverage it to get an award like the Presidential Volunteering Service Award, or simply get recognized by an advisor in your school for your community service, which you can also leverage later to get an awesome letter of recommendation. So just to recap, we took the simple idea of a food drive, then added these bells and whistles to transform it into an Ivy League extracurricular activity. Check it out. Partnered with Feeding America, Red Cross, and local North Carolina relief organizations to donate 10,000 plus pounds to Hurricane Helene victims. Led team of 30 volunteers and generated 500 plus service hours, earned PVSA. Boom, mic drop. I'll be the first to admit, sure, this might take some time, but not as long as you think. If you made this your #1 focus this summer, you could totally pull it off by November 1st or January 1st, which is the early decision and regular decision deadlines. Guys, before we share our top 3 tips to upgrade your activities list, please just consider liking and subscribing to our channel. It really helps us share more of this awesome free content to amazing, talented students like yourself. Tip #1, family responsibilities and personal hobbies totally count. Let's say that you play a hand in looking after your sweet grandma. This probably doesn't warrant admission to Harvard, but this totally does. Provide 15 hours weekly caregiving for elderly grandmother, managing medications and coordinating with healthcare providers. Negotiated insurance down from $10.25 to $4.50 a month. Again, notice the numbers. Now let's try this again for another activity, self-teaching guitar. Self-studied guitar through YouTube, shout out Guitar Lessons 365. Performed twice a week at local cafes, now teaching basics to 5 younger students, recorded 8 compositions. Even though these aren't proper extracurriculars, they still show perseverance, dedication, initiative. Remember, colleges want to know who you are, not just what clubs or organizations you're a part of. Tip #2, emphasize the how over the what. An activity I see all the time is tutoring. But let's face it, tons of high schoolers teach younger students. So, what makes your methodology unique? A bad description looks like this. But this, on the other hand, is terrific. Grew tutoring program from 3 to 15 volunteers by recording math TikToks and sharing geometry memes, improving average student grades by 27%. Finally, my favorite tip #3, write about quirky or weird activities. Admission officers read thousands of applications about students interested in computer science and business and economics. But they don't come across many students who love collecting antique coins or have a passion for magic. Some students make the mistake of literally writing themselves off and thinking that these aren't worthy of including. Don't make that mistake. Sure, this might not be one of your top 5 activities, but it's always a breath of fresh air when the AO reaches activity #9 and sees something like this. Learn to break dance, flares, head spins, windmills by volunteering at a homeless shelter in Brooklyn, perform b-boy routines at school-wide assemblies, favorite move, =, the air chair. Alrighty, my dear virtual little siblings, I tried my best to make this video as short and useful as possible, but if you still have a question or suggestion, let me know in the comment section below. I will be eternally grateful if you guys liked and subscribed to this channel. And you know what? Here is a present from me to you for sticking until the end. Thank you so much.